What if I told you that the secret to making more sales is not in chasing customers, but in positioning yourself? Positioning yourself within an existing system where customers are already waiting to hand over money to you. That sounds too good to be true, right? Now, that's the power of platforms and marketplaces. In this episode, I'll be diving into how marketplaces have shaped global wealth for centuries. I'll be sharing on the power of platforms and why most small-scale entrepreneurs struggle for years before eventually realizing the power of platforms, and how you can plug into these systems to make more sales with less stress. All right, so let's get into it. For as long as human beings have existed, people have always gathered in marketplaces to trade. At the time, it was temples and public squares. The Greeks had the agora, the Romans had the forum, huge gatherings where people meet each other to buy and sell. Then later, we had the Silk Road, where people came from continents, one end of the world to the other, just to exchange goods across continents. These markets were not just places to buy things, they were entire ecosystems in themselves. Ecosystems where wealth was created, where value exchange ends. And fast forward to the 17th century, we had things like financial marketplaces, the first stock exchange market being brought to life, people trading shares in businesses, money moving now without borders, money moving without any physical product actually moving. So the concept of marketplaces have been part of our commercial life for as far back as human beings have existed. We have always had marketplaces in one form or the other. So even as far back as when trade was done by barter, where people just exchanged goods for, fairly equivalent value of another good somewhere, there was still the role of that central meeting point. The role of that meeting point has always been vital. So marketplaces have always been that powerful. Trade had always survived on a meeting point, on a marketplace, on a platform. There had to always be a platform. Now, fast forward to today, we have platforms and marketplaces, digital marketplaces everywhere and all over. Looking at that, it should make us see something. It should make us appreciate the power of platforms. It should make us appreciate the power of marketplaces. Now, there's something that small-scale entrepreneurs, let me say virtually every entrepreneur, but most times small-scale entrepreneurs are usually the victim of this. So when you start a business, what you do is you are focusing on perfecting the product. So you spend months, years trying to refine the idea, trying to work on the product, tweaking, designing, making sure it's beyond picture perfect, and then you launch, and then you realize that nobody knows your product exists. Nobody knows how much hours you spent perfecting the product. And at that point, that's when you move to the phase 2, where you are now running after distribution. You are now thinking, let's try social media marketing, let's try SEO, let's try paid ads, let's try cold outreach. You are spending more time now on marketing than on improving the product. You're spending 80% of your time now trying to get the product in the hands of the people you made it for, right? So there's that phase that you get into where you're trying to hack distribution. You're struggling with distribution. You are more focused on distribution than the product. And there's another phase that not all entrepreneurs get to enter into, because what leads into that phase is a painful realization. It's a painful realization that it's not about a product. It's not even about the distribution per se, especially when you're starting from the scratch. It's about finding a platform. At the early stage, you can't afford so many things. And the realization that you have to find a platform is one major realization that you have to come to. You must realize that the easiest way to make the early stage money is to position yourself within an ecosystem where customers already exist. And that's what platforms and marketplaces do for you. They help you focus more on the product and deliver traffic of people that are ready to buy to you, people that are in the buy-in mode, people that are on a platform where they know how I'm here to buy, right? And that's just the beautiful realization that most small-scale entrepreneurs don't even get to come into. Now, just think about this. If you maybe created a new product and you decided to go through the whole hassle of putting it on Amazon, just the step of putting it on Amazon automatically opens you up to potential millions of ready to buy customers who are on that platform in their spending mode, because people are more likely to buy your product when they find your product on the way while trying to buy another product. Why? There's a psychological mode that people are in when they are trying to buy something. They're in that psychological state of spending. So you can walk into a store to get apple, and then on walking out, you bought both apple and chocolate. You did not plan to buy chocolate, but because you're in that spending mode, that psychological state of spending, you just pick the chocolate alongside the apple and then you just pay for everything. So if you are let's say freelancer struggling to find clients, putting the effort into setting up yourself properly on multiple gig markets, multiple gig marketplace is something that you should be looking at. Those platforms already exist. Those platforms already have traffic. So rather than running after people who are not currently looking to hire that particular service that you're offering, why not commit more time? Why not make it a project? Why you don't have any clients right now? Why not make it a project to work on your visibility, to work on your positioning, and spend months as though you are working on a client's job? Spend months working on your visibility on that platform, and just relax and watch the power of platforms work the magic for you. Because these are people that are on the platform. They are readily looking for a freelancer that it can pay for a particular service. So you're not trying to really trying to sell them in a very, very strange manner. You are just setting up yourself for success on that platform. Now, this is what most people don't realize. They realize it pretty late into their journey. So rather than just running after people who are not looking to hire you, why not position yourself more? Why not invest more time, invest more energy, more resources, even money into positioning on those platforms, right? If you look at most small-scale entrepreneurs, regardless of what industry they are, close to over 80% of them don't actually own distribution channels. They don't. They hunt for platforms. They hunt for opportunities where they can actually get found, how they can position themselves to get found, and then they can start off from that, raise cash with that. They plug into platforms where customers already exist. That's what most of them do. So what are the basic steps you can take right now? I mean, right now, after listening to this episode of this podcast. Number one is to find a platform. Basically, I define platform as anything that bridges a gap of access, any form of gap of access, geographical gaps, skill gaps, any kind of platform that bridges gaps. Find that platform. I can tell you it already exists, regardless of what product, service, or industry you are in. There is at least a platform in one form or the other. It doesn't have to be a website. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a website. You have to find a platform that matches what you are doing, a platform that bridges the gap between you and the people you want to reach, that bridges the gap between you and customers that are looking to buy. That's what you need to find. Once you find that platform, number two is to leverage that platform's traffic. So instead of trying to create your own traffic, instead of trying to build your own audience from scratch, which is a good thing, building your audience from scratch, building your own distribution is a long-term game. And some people don't even survive that initial stage of building till the business crashes or something just happens midway. So instead of just trying to build an audience and that's all you're trying to do, go where the traffic already exists, right? you don't have the money to build your own website now. So look for a platform. Try and sell on Amazon. Try and sell on somewhere else. Because building, your challenge with building your own website is not just the money you will spend or the technical details. You also have to start hunting for traffic. I mean, most people don't realize that after building an e-commerce website for a small business that's not making so much money, you have to still hunt for traffic. You have to still drive people to that your freshly built website, of which you've not actually optimized. You don't even know how to get people from scrolling through the pages to eventually picking a product and then placing another, checking out, and successfully getting their product. That's a number of things that you have to figure out on the long run. But you can just find a platform on the short run, right? So one other thing you can do is to just invest on your positioning. Invest on your positioning on those platforms. Don't just sign up. Don't just set up a profile like the average person would do. Invest time, invest money, invest resources. Treat it like a project. Research ways to actually stand out on those platforms. And I tell you, it pays. It pays a lot. It's one of the fastest way for you to actually get cash flow as a small business owner. The point I've been trying to drive to you in this episode is that marketplaces have always been the foundation of wealth. From as long as you can think of trade, as long as you can think of goods and services exchanging hands. Until date, in this modern world, marketplaces are still a game changer. They've made it very easier for you to plug in and start getting sales and start earning faster than you would have thought. So my question to you on this episode is simple. What platform have you had access to that you have been underestimating? What platform or access do you have that you are underutilizing? Is it possible that you could find more platforms than what you currently have? Can you plug into more platforms? So if this episode sparked something in you, I want you to do something. I want you to share it with a friend who needs to hear this. I want you to share it with someone on any of your social platforms. I want you to follow the Luminary Podcast on Spotify, on Apple Podcast, on AudioMac. You can also follow on YouTube. You can follow the Isaac Tosin on YouTube. And that will be all for this episode. I'll see you on the next one. Take charge.